Hello and welcome to Public Intel on Viewer Television, Abuja, Nigeria. I am Dakore Ekpendu. We begin with some top security stories that made the headlines during the week. NAF destroys compound of the Islamic State West African province ISWAP terrorists. Federal Capital Territory FCT Correctional Service Center gets new controller. Kidnapping banditry Ganduje braves Oshidbanjo. Traffickers take advantage of unemployment to sell humans, says Ayade. 2 feared dead as police shite clash in Kaduna. Reactions trail new fuel price and electricity tariff in Nigeria. Troops of Operation Accord neutralizes 4 armed bandits in Kaduna, recover arms. Akinwumi Adesina re-elected unanimously as president of the African Development Bank Group. Police officer, 5 others killed in bank robbery in Niger State. Military airstrikes hit bandits hideout, kills scores in Kaduna Forest. Statement according to the Defense Headquarters. And that's it on the headlines for now. You can always catch us online. Our website, www.publicintelwithdakare.org, has more security stories. You can send us an email using publicintelwithdakare@gmail.com. Connect with us on all social media platforms on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. It is at Public Intel with Dakare. And on Twitter, it is PI with Dakare. When we come back after this break, we'll be speaking with Air Commodore Babalola Benjamin Okonla on the major roles the Nigerian Armed Forces played in eradicating polio and going forward, how we can sustain these efforts. To join us again.
Wow. Please, you guys need to come and see this thing. So there's this guy in my area called Lord Spark. You don't see him during the day, but at night, he's very active. I went to the police, man, I was scared though. They were nice to me and all, and they promised to protect my identity. 3 days later, the police showed up at Lord Spark's door.
Gang, see action.
When the guy sees search warrant, think calm down. The police wasted no time. They went straight to where the guns were hidden. Then did their investigation well. They were arrested and charged to court the next day for theft, illegal possession of firearms, and resisting arrest. And stolen cars were recovered.
Don't mean it. Our Nigeria police, if it happens,
with good laws,
proper funding,
training, and cooperation,
if it happens.
Welcome back. Africa was declared free from wild polio on August 25, 2020 by the independent body, the Africa Regional Certification Commission. Polio usually affects children under 5, sometimes leading to irreversible paralysis. There is no cure, but the polio vaccine protects children for life. Nigeria is the last African country to be declared free from wild polio, having accounted for more than half of all global cases less than a decade ago. Conflict with the Islamist militant group Boko Haram has made parts of Nigeria particularly difficult to reach, Borno State in particular. It has taken decades to achieve eradication and overcome suspicion around the vaccine. On this note, let's hear from Air Commodore Benjamin Okonla, retired, who joins us now on the phone. He is a retired Air Force personnel, also an integrative medical doctor. Dr. Benjamin, if you can hear me, how significant is this for Nigeria?
Thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this program, and thank you for your question. Nigeria became polio-free because of strategic collaboration between the federal government of Nigeria's National Program on Immunization, the Rotary International Polio Plus Program, the National Primary Health Development Agency, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the United Nations, World Health Organization, UNICEF, Doctors Without Borders, several federal, state, and local government institutions, as well as non-governmental organizations. Now, you will recall that Nigeria was the last hub of wild polio in Africa. Now that Nigeria is polio-free, that means the whole of Africa is polio-free. And this is responsible for the certification that was given to Africa a few days ago. The fact that Africa is now polio-free means that the whole world is a step to polio eradication globally. This achievement will save the world millions of dollars, which was hitherto channeled towards the program. This money can now be channeled to prevention and reduction of other childhood and maternal diseases, as well as improving healthcare delivery to different parts of the world. Now, looking at family level, it will reduce the financial, social, and psychological impact of the morbidity and mortality of polio. Children can now develop normally without disabilities. Parents can spend more money for the education of their children rather than spending such fund on problems associated with polio. Eventually, this achievement will enable the world as well as different states to improve other aspects of healthcare delivery. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. Now, what major role did the Nigerian armed forces What major role did the Nigerian armed forces played in eradicating polio, and going forward, how can we sustain these efforts? Can you hear me?
Okay, thank you very much. The armed forces of Nigeria was involved in the provision of security, especially to the northeast. The stabilization of communities enabled healthcare workers to be able to work without fear. It also enabled the immunization campaign to be able to penetrate into the remote areas. Secondly, the armed forces of Nigeria have facilities all over the country, and these facilities were opened to children so that their parents can take them to such facilities and they receive their immunization as at when due. Again, the armed forces of Nigeria have a lot of trained medical personnel, doctors, nurses, and public health specialists who were involved in the various programs of the federal government of Nigeria, especially in the area of eradication of polio. So they were involved in the various immunization campaign at various levels, both federal, state, and local government levels. The armed forces of Nigeria also provided logistic and convoy protection, especially when materials and logistics are moved from urban to rural areas. Some of the steps that can be taken to sustain the efforts are effective surveillance, monitoring, and evaluation. The fact that polio has been eradicated does not mean that someone who has polio cannot come into Nigeria again or Africa, cause problems. So there's need for effective surveillance, monitoring, and evaluation so that whenever they discover polio, it can be treated effectively. There's also need for sustaining public health education and campaign. They should continue to conduct public health education and campaign to all states and local government areas. There's also need for the armed forces of Nigeria to provide security, because once there is security, we can build on other welfare activities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your insight. Air Commodore Benjamin Okonla, retired. Dr. Okonla is a retired Air Force personnel, also an integrative medical doctor. Coming up next on our show is our topic of discussion: fight against insecurity, civil-military relations. Do well to join us after this break. We'll be right back.
Wow. Please, you guys need to come and see this thing. So there's this guy in my area called Lord Spark. You don't see him during the day, but at night, he's very active. I went to the police, man, I was scared though. They were nice to me and all, and they promised to protect my identity. 3 days later, the police showed up at Lord Spark's door.
Gang, see action.
When the guy sees search warrant, think calm down. The police wasted no time. They went straight to where the guns were hidden. Then do their investigation well. They were arrested and charged to court the next day for theft, illegal possession of firearms, and resisting arrest. And stolen cars were recovered.
Don't mean it. Our Nigeria police, if it happen,
With good laws,
proper funding,
Training and cooperation.
if it happens.
Welcome back. You are still on to Public Intel on Viewer Television. And now to the main topic of discussion: fight against insecurity, civil-military relations. You may be wondering what civil-military relations, CMR, is. It has actually emerged after the Second World War as a dominant challenge and a reoccurring theme in developed and developing democracies across the world. Changes in both geostrategic environment and domestic political systems are leading to calls for a review of the civil-military relations. The concern has been about finding an appropriate balance between the military and civil society in a democracy. Civil-military relations in a democracy does not only deal with the issues of military in politics and power conflicts. It spans across professionalism, security, and defense for enhanced political stability, among others. National security and strong diplomatic stature, proper equilibrium between political influence and military professionalism must be established to create and maintain democratic stability. Today, we'll be looking at civil-military relations in Nigeria as a look to strike a cordial relationship between the people and the military in the fight against insecurity.